Hello everyone and welcome to another Wavelength Wednesdays. My name is Waveney and I am a leadership coach. I help new managers develop leadership influence by mastering their relationships at work and leveraging their communication skills. Today I'm speaking to you about knowing when to quit. Now, are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Fabulous. Okay, so this is the week of love. This is a week where everybody's talking about love. And I wanted to jump on here to speak to you about self-love. All right, self-love, but I'm doing it in a different way. Sometimes we don't know when to quit. And when we don't know when to quit in our jobs, we end up burning ourselves out. And I'm not talking about knowing when to quit like the job completely, sometimes that too, but just knowing when to have a cutoff point, right? And so just let me give you a little bit of a backstory. Those of you who may or may not know, I am still, at the time of this recording, I am still working my 9 to 5. So I am a director of human resources at luxury resort, right? So my background is hospitality, and at the end of last year I found myself really stretched, really burnt out, and I'm like, never again. And I am a big fan of taking care of yourself, you know, self-leadership, but I got so caught up that I wasn't doing that. And I wanted to come on because we need reminding, especially if you are ambitious, if you're driven, if you're a high achiever, you're going to fall off the wagon, okay? And so I was the only HR person in my office. You know, COVID really did a number. People left, people were downsized, my office, you know, so I was the only one. And for those of you who has ever done a job fair, well, I had to put on a job fair, and you know, it was a lot. And so that is how I end up burnt out. But there were some things that, you know, little red flags that I could have, that alerted me that I could have done things a little bit different. And I wanted to share some of those things with you, right, that we do to get to that point. So number one, we tell ourselves lies. Like, we lie to ourselves. We are like, okay, I'm just going to send this last email and then I'm going to leave for the day. Or just one more thing, I'll finish up and then I'll be done. You know, and it's always just one more, or just let me do this. And then we end up, instead of leaving at 6, at 5, we end up leaving at 8. I have been so guilty of it. I'm sure you have too. And so we need to really pay attention to those times that we're saying to ourselves, just one more, right? The other thing too is that we start thinking more about others, start thinking more about the organization than ourselves, and this causes an imbalance. Now, loyalty and commitment is fabulous, it's great, I'm a fan for it, but you need a happy medium. There's some people who would argue and say that a balance, a work-life balance, isn't what's that word, isn't not available, but it can't happen, it's not achievable, right? But we need to find a happy medium, okay? We need to put ourselves first, we need to put our health first, and if I had done that, I probably wouldn't have ended up really, you know, burnt out and tired. So then the next tip that I want to share is we don't schedule breaks. Okay, maybe we need to take a day off, maybe we can leave early, right? But we want to complete, we're so driven, we're so focused that we want to complete whatever. We need to pay attention to those times, okay? That we're not taking breaks, we're not taking days off. Tip number 4, we don't have boundaries, we don't set boundaries, and we don't set realistic expectations for ourselves. You know, one of the things that I always tell people who work for me is that, you know, sometimes I'm going to come and I'm going to ask you to do stuff and you may be in the middle of something. It's okay to say, hey, I'm doing this. Which one is a priority? And I find that people need reminded of that. You need to ask which one is a priority, right? what's a priority for you right now? Because everything cannot be a priority. And so whether you're sharing this with your boss, you're asking them, you know, maybe your workload is a little bit heavy, or you're really looking at the amount of work that you have to do, and you're asking yourself, okay, which one is a priority? So set realistic expectations, set boundaries to people, with people. Say no if you have to. You know, we all can't help, you know, but all of the time, but we need to do these things, otherwise it's gonna end very badly for us. And then lastly, we don't ask for help. We need to ask for help. We need to know when to ask for help. I have a, you know, I have a issue. I struggle with that a little bit, because sometimes I get in my superwoman, Wonder Woman mode, and I think I can do everything, but I really can't. And so we need to know when to ask for help, because the result of us not doing these things and not checking ourselves is that we end up frustrated, we end up stressed out, we may end up in a hospital, you know, worst case scenario. We may even, you know, for me, I know when I'm tired, my patience runs out a lot quicker. And so these are things that we have to look out for. We have to look after ourselves, especially now coming out of this pandemic, and moving forward. We have to take care of our mental health. We have to take care of our physical health, right? And so we are no use to anyone, our organization, ourselves, our team, if we don't take care of ourselves. And so this is what I wanted to share with you. This is my Valentine's week message. This is a special wavelength. I've gone a little bit over the time, but share this out with someone who is a workaholic, who needs this message, and let me know your thoughts in the comment. I'm excited to hear them. I will speak to you on another Wavelength Wednesdays. Bye.